Hello everyone, my name is Sanket Jain and I welcome you all to Psyche Simplified. To simplify the concept of psychology, basically the concept given in the NCERT, we started with this particular series. This is very important for all the beginners and for all the students who are having interest in reading the concept of psychology, in reading human behavior and different mental process. We already started with class 11 NCERT, chapter number 1, that is what is psychology. In our yesterday class, we already have seen some important topics. Like for example, we've seen what is psychology is all about. We explore upon this particular quote, which is given by Norman Cousins, and then why the study of psychology is important, why we should study psychology, what is the evolution of psychology, how this definition evolve, mind, soul, consciousness, modern psychology, then what is psychology is all about, psychology as natural science and social science, understanding mind and behavior, scientific understanding, common sense, it is not common sense, it is scientific in nature. Okay, other than this, we already have explored about development of psychology in India, different phases of psychology in India. Now in our today's class, we will focus upon the branches of psychology. Okay, so now understanding two important things. On right hand side, the screenshot of NCERT is also given, so you can read this NCERT, this screenshot or your NCERT, and then for the explanation you can refer to this infographic or for video. So you will see there are two headings over there. The first one is branches of psychology. The second one is how psychology is related to other discipline. This is other discipline. So these both are different things. First, we are seeing different branches of psychology. Means what are the core subject of psychology? What are the core field of psychology? And then in the next slide, we will explore upon how it is related to different discipline, how it is related to law, how it is related to other philosophy, okay, medicine, etc., etc. So what are the core field? The core field are, you will see in psychology, in research method, there are two basic type of research. The first one is basic research, where we read concept, and then applied research, where we apply those concepts. So in the same way, these are the basic research field. You can see over here, cognitive psychology, biological psychology, neuropsychology, developmental psychology. Cognitive psychology is related to mental process. This is one field of psychology where we focus upon the mental process. What are those mental process? Attention, decision making, reasoning, memory, learning, perception, etc. Okay, so these are our cognitive psychology. You will see some chapters in UPSC syllabus also: sensation, attention, perception, learning chapter, memory chapter, thinking chapter. These all chapters are related to the field of cognitive psychology. The second one is biological psychology. It is related to brain, nervous system, genetics. Okay, so biology is different, psychology is different, but then they both come together and it is known as biological psychology, where we talk about that how biological parameters influence our mental process, influence our behavior. For example, hormonal disbalance, level of neurotransmitters. Okay, this also impact our behavior. Okay, our brain also impact our behavior. This is biological psychology. Neuropsychology means brain, mainly focus upon the neurons, that is mainly focus upon the brain and psychological parameters. So how brain impact our behavior, how brain impact our psychology. Okay, and then developmental psychology, like how we develop, okay, from infancy to old age, how we develop. So this is basic research field. You can see over here also, the first one is cognitive. It focuses upon attention, learning, reasoning, memory, etc. The second one is biological. Okay, so how these all things impact our behavior. Okay, the next you will see over here in the same basic research field, developmental psychology. Okay, how we develop from infancy, then early childhood, adolescence is there, middle adulthood, late adulthood. So various theories are there. For example, Piaget's cognitive development theory. Okay, this is developmental psychology. Kohlberg, moral development theory. Erikson, psychosocial developmental theory. Okay, so these are all related to development, that how we develop. Neuropsychology means basically focusing upon the brain. Okay, so how the different part of the brain impact our behavior. You know that brain is a complex part of human body. Okay, so different areas of brain are there. For example, frontal lobe is there, the parietal lobe is there. Okay, so in this way, how these all things impact our behavior, what is happening over here when we are thinking something. Okay, so therefore you know that there different kind of instruments are also used. For example, neuroimaging, cognitive testing, so that we can understand our brain also, and we can understand human behavior also. Okay, so in this way, these are the basic research, basic field you will see over here. Other than this, you will see this, other than basic research, these are applied psychological field. So under applied psychological field, where we can apply the concept of psychology, clinical psychology, okay, in treatment or different kind of psychological disorder. Okay, so you will see one chapter is there, well-being and mental disorder, so that is related to clinical psychology. So what used to be the assumption before time, that whenever any person is having any kind of disease, just see the symptoms and give them medicine. Okay, but now whenever someone having any kind of disease, we check out all the parameters. Okay, this is clinical psychology. What kind of emotion is he or she is having, what kind of stress is he or she is having, this is clinical psychology. And why disorders happens, mood disorder, schizophrenia, depression, anxiety, etc., etc., what are the psychological reasons behind this other than the biological reason. Counseling psychology means focusing upon solving everyday personal problem. How counseling is done. Okay, different type of counseling are given. Okay, for example, person-centered therapy, human-centered therapy. This comes under counseling psychology. Health psychology, again, it focusing upon the health parameters. Education focusing upon giving better educational parameters. Okay, learning outcomes should be better. Teaching process should be better. How can we teach the students who are having learning disabilities? Dyslexia is there, attention deficit hyperactive disorder is there. So what are the parameters we can focus upon so that we can give them good education? Okay, so this is what applied principles. Other than this, some are interdisciplinary or modern fields also. Okay, for example, in forensic also we can apply the concept of psychology. For aviation, pilot, okay, you know that pilot stress amongst the pilot is very emerging topic. Military psychology is very important. You will see a lot of disorders, a lot of cases of post traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, you will find in war soldiers. Okay, community psychology is very important. It is given in paper 2 also. Political psychology also, how great leaders influence voting behavior. Psychology of women. Okay, so these are the contemporary, or you can see these are the branches which is also related, which are interdisciplinary field. Okay, you can see over here also. Okay, so this is what, this is clinical psychology, focusing upon thought also, behavior, feelings. Counseling psychology, okay, focus upon these parameters. Then next one you will see over here, psychology and other disciplines. The first one is related to branches of psychology. So these are the core field, but now we know that psychology is everywhere. Study of behavior and mental process can be related to everywhere. So the main focus is to understand the human being. Now if you want to understand the human being, then you need to connect it with different parameters also, with different disciplines also. So psychology is related to various kind of other disciplines also. For example, psychology is also connected to philosophy. How philosophy is considered is the, like, psychology was not psychology till 1879. Before, it was considered as a part of philosophy. Okay, so various kind of early philosophers, for example, Rene Descartes, Aristotle, Plato, John Locke. These are very important names. They talk about the question of mind. They talk about the question of knowledge, psychological thinking. So in this way, psychology is also related to philosophy. Okay, now we understand them with the help of scientific principles. In the same way, with social science also it is related. Economics, political science. Okay, with these branches also psychology is related. Consumer behavior. Okay, how people negotiate. Okay, consumer psychology is also there. Okay, what are the psychological tactics we should use so that we can attract the consumer. Okay, this is also used in media psychology. How we can read consumer behavior, what kind of product we should give them. So you know that various kind of advertisement are given, they focus upon psychology. Okay, why you will see, why you always see association of a housewife with a bimbar or with such kind of product. Why? Because it is psychology, it is an association. We will read in further chapters. It is also related to political science or understanding voting behavior. Okay, how voting behavior changes. You know that freebies are given in India. Why? Because it changes the voting behavior. This is psychology of voting behavior. Okay, it is also related to mass communication. Media also influence, how media influences our attitude. Okay, you know that like social media, they influence our behavior. Instagram, Facebook, we follow certain people with same attitude. So this is how mass communication is also using the concept of psychology. In architecture and engineering, ergonomics is a very important branch. Okay, for example, ergonomics means like how on how much distance a laptop should be placed on your computer screen, on your table. Okay, like for example, let's say take an example of a aeroplane. Okay, jet planes. Okay, so pilot has the control over everything or not. He can control everything or not. This is ergonomics, this is engineering. Okay, you go like any kind of workplace is there, so whether they are having proper lighting or not, proper seats or not, if they are not proper, definitely the stress will be there upon the human being. He will not able to perform very well, productivity will decrease. It is also connected to medicine. Okay, with medicine also it is connected, computer science also it is connected. Okay, artificial intelligence, AI is there. So how AI is impacting human mind? Okay, you know that whenever we want to find something, we instantly google it. Okay, or we go to the chat gpt. So in this way, like, we are not using our cognitive efficiency. Okay, so computer science also it is related. Now we know that in computer science we we give some input, then processing, then output. Now, on the same model, one important field you will see in psychology, that is known as information processing model. Input, processing, output. So you give some input, CPU processing, output is there on the screen. In the same way, you will see encoding, storage, and retrieval is there of our memory. You encode something, you store something, and then you retrieve that particular memory whenever required. It is also related to law and criminology. Okay, in the field of law also, eyewitness testimony, the behavior of the the behavior of the criminal. Okay, how we can change it. In this way also, psychology is also related, forensic psychology, with literature, music, all these kind of things, art, humanities. We can connect psychology to everything. Okay, this is study of behavior, mental process, and experience, and it is connected to everything. We can not understand anything unless we understand psychology. Okay, for example, we want to change the environment, we want to control the population. Okay, we want to reduce air pollution. We cannot do anything unless we understand the psychology. And I think this is also one of the reasons that we are unable to tackle these major problems. Why? Because we focus less upon the psychological parameters. Okay, we start focusing upon these psychological parameters, attitude change, belief change, value change, we can bring so much welfare to the society also. Okay, so far we have discussed, we have discussed what psychology is all about. We have discussed the definition of psychology. We have discussed scientific nature of psychology. We discussed a very important brain mind relationship, mind mental process, brain physical part of the body, how development of psychology happens globally, not only world but in India also. Okay, then branches of psychology we have seen, just we have seen how psychology and other disciplines are related. Okay, this also we have seen. Now a very natural question is there to all the students, that why it is useful for me. Okay, why it is useful for me. So on the last page of the NCERT, one important topic is also given, that how psychology is related to life, how it is related to us. Now understand, psychology is understanding your behavior. So it is also useful to solve various kind of real life problem. If you are able to understand your mental process, if you know your personality, your intelligence, your cognitive capacity, then it will help you personally also. Okay, you, like in learning chapter, we learn a lot about mnemonics techniques. How can you learn in a very efficient manner? Okay, what are the ways, like, to avoid any kind of forgetting? So it is helping you at personal level also. It is making you mental tough, mental resilience you will develop. At family level also it will help you. Okay, to solve any kind of relationship issues, you focus upon the behavior, you understand the mental process, so over there also it can help you. Okay, so in family level also very important. Societal or global level, we already have discussed a lot of issues related to population is there, environmental concern is there. Okay, for example, you know that people are not so much worry about the environmental issues. Why? Because they do not consider is immediate threat. Okay, so what we do, we discount immediate threat, because environmental issues have long-term consequences. So we can change this attitude, we can bring change in the behavior also among the people. A lot of intergroup conflict is there, so conflict can be replaced by cooperation. It is studied in psychology, how can we can do this. So for society also it is very important. Okay, a lot of problem in the society, problem of education, problem of terrorism, problem of military, a lot of problem in military psychology also, sports related problem, gender related problem, community related problem, all this can be solved if we understand psychology better. Okay, so societal education problem can be solved. Other than this, we can also use the psychologist in schools, industries, military, hospitals, prisons, private practice also. Let's say, for example, school. If a psychologist is appointed in the school, then he can counsel the student in a better way. Okay, you know that many of the problems which we face in our adolescence, their root is in our childhood. Childhood is very important. Okay, so if we develop good personality of a child, then there are chances that less problem will be there. Primary focus should be there. Therefore, primary healthcare is also very important. Okay, so in this way, in the schools, industries also, psychology should be there to maintain work-life balance. A lot of people, they have a lot of problem in industries, in the workplace. So we can counsel them, we can give them therapy also. Okay, in hospitals also it is very important. In prisons also it is very important to reform them. Okay, in private practice, business organization also it is very important to understand consumer behavior. So therefore, psychology can be applied to everything. It is every day. It is everywhere. Okay, so this is how we have seen the first chapter of NCERT. I hope all the things are clear to all of you. This is just the beginning. This is just the NCERT. I'm not taking you to the advanced level unless we won't be able to finish this NCERT course. One important thing that the foundation batch is going to start from 11th of May. In this batch, registration already has started. This batch is online, offline mode both. In this test, you will get total 8 tests, 4 tests for paper 1, 4 tests for paper 2, live classes which will be there in the form of recording also. So live classes will also be there, recording will also be there, regular doubt session will also be there. Okay, regular answer writing will also be there, complete notes, complete handwritten notes, you will get everything. Okay, so if you want to opt psychology, if you want to prepare psychology, if you're interested in reading human behavior, all these kind of thing, then you can opt for this particular course. Okay, this course is available in online, offline mode. Starting date is 11th of May. Okay, please remember this. Timing is 11 to 1 p.m. Okay, and it include everything, all comprehensively. You will be able to prepare with the help of this course. So if you have any inquiry, anything you want to ask for this particular course, then you can call us on this number. You can also visit our website. Thank you very much.